So, for my midday devotion today, I wanted to spend some time, or just felt impressed to spend some time meditating on Psalm 63. And something occurred to me, and I was journaling it, and then I said, oh, this might probably be a blessing to someone, so let me record it. So, the first here are the first two verses. Psalm 63. O God, you are my God. Early will I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh longs for you in a dry and thirsty land where there is no water. Still, I have longed for you in the sanctuary to see your power and your glory. I'll come back to the verse. I remember watching this documentary about there's this drug, I don't remember the name of it, or it's like a nasal spray that they encourage people to carry with them, especially if you live in an area where there are persons who might overdose, or if you have a family member who might overdose, and you have such a small amount of time to give them this drug to spray it in their nose or something to help bring them back. What was interesting as I was watching this documentary is how they said that the number of people that overdose and they are able to save it's a higher percentage or higher chance that those same people can overdose again. Like, you would think, and even for persons who attempt to take their lives, and I say this with sympathy to those of you who might be watching, who, if you've had suicidal thoughts and you know of someone who might have taken their lives, that there is sometimes a greater chance for someone who once attempted to take their life to do it again. And what we realize, and what was being shown in this documentary, is that it's not just enough to save people. There must be this longing and this desire and this will to live on the part of that individual for them not to either overdose or to try to take their lives again. And what made the reason why that stuck out to me is that I realized that the same issue we have in church or in our spiritual walk. So many times, for those of us who might be involved in ministry, there is this strong desire, oh, I just want to save souls. I want to see people come to Jesus, and I want to see them come out of the world and come into the church, and we want them to be saved, and that is good. We should want that. We should want people who don't know Jesus to come to a saving knowledge of him. We should want persons who have struggles and issues to find victory in Christ. We want people to have an abundant, joyful life, even if that means having a hard life, you can still have joy and peace. We should want that for people. But what I realize is that so many times we get so caught up, speaking about myself too, we get so caught up in wanting people to be saved that we miss out a key ingredient. Remember, in Psalm 51, David says, restore to me the joy of thy salvation. Joy of my salvation. It wasn't just restore to me salvation, it was restore to me joy. Why is that important? It's just like someone whose life feels so hopeless and they don't want to live anymore. They're in so much anguish and so much pain. They're surrounded by so much darkness. They try to take their life, and then something happens. We bring them back. We bring them back, so they're not successful in that attempt. What's going to happen is that if that person does not have this genuine peace or this genuine desire to live and feel hope, what's going to happen? They're going to go right back and into whether it's self-destructive habits or try to take their lives again. We can apply the same thing in our spiritual walk. If we don't have that genuine desire and longing for Jesus Christ, something else is going to come along that seems either much more pleasurable than Christ, that's going to take our attention and our affection off of him. And then we're going to, whether it's backslide or go back to a life that we had before. The aim in our Christian life should not just be to be good people. We have so many good people in church. And when I say good people, I mean, like, I would look at my life and I'm like, what sin do I do? I mean, I'm not out there drinking and partying and smoking and being promiscuous and doing all this stuff. But is that all that Christ wants us to do? Is it just that he wants a whole bunch of people who don't do bad things? Like, a lot of us can look at ourselves and we say, I'm a good person. That's not what Christ wants us to do. For example, think about, I just got married. But imagine if my husband only wanted me to be a good wife. Like, he just wants me to be there, support him, be faithful, care for the home, respect him, and all that stuff. He just wants me to be a good wife. How would that benefit him? You know, if I cook all of his meals, if I do his laundry, if I respect him when we're out, if I always look nice, if I'm a good wife, is that all he wants? Absolutely not. The thing that is most important is that he wants me to love him. And that means that even if something happens, even if I make a mistake, I still love him, and that is what keeps the marriage going. On the part of my husband, I don't just want him to be a good husband, like he takes care of me and he is faithful and he talks with me and so forth. I want his love. I want his attention. I want his longing. I want him to want my mind and my heart. And there is that love and that affection and that longing and that desire. There's this thirst and there's this hunger. So even if he makes a mistake, which he does, and even when I make a mistake, which I do, the relationship keeps going. So coming back now to Psalm 63, where we see David saying, he is in a wilderness, it's a dry and weary land, there is no water, the most basic thing besides oxygen that's necessary for life, water. He doesn't have water, but he says that his soul and his flesh, my flesh longs for you, my soul thirsts for you, my flesh longs for you. He's not even desiring water. He's like, even though I don't have the most basic thing for survival, what my spirit and my flesh is longing for, it's for you. David is not just talking about a relationship with God where he's just a good person. He's talking about a relationship. He has a relationship with God where he has this genuine love and desire and this thirst for God that is so strong that even if he has no water, the first thing in the morning when he wakes up and he's in this wilderness, he's not on this quest to find water. His first thought is toward, how can I find God? It says, early will I seek you. You would think you're in a wilderness, one of the first things that you're going to do early in the morning is try to find water. No, David is like, early will I seek you. In this wilderness, there's no water. I'm going to search for you. So imagine what it would be like for you and I to go above this sort of mediocre level of Christianity where we're just focused on being a good person. I just want to have devotions every day. I want to go to church. I want to be a good person. You know, that can pass because hard times are going to come, and it's not just being a good person that's going to keep you faithful to Jesus. It's your love for him. It's your desire to have more of him so that no matter how hard things get, just like in our relationships with people or with our spouses, no matter how hard things might get, I still want my husband because there's that love for him. And so I just wanted to spend a few moments and just encourage you in your faith walk and in your pursuit of Christ, to not just let your religion be about being a good person. Mind you, I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. We should want to not do bad things, but that's not the end of all of it. And I think that's why a lot of us, when we make a mistake, we suddenly think that our relationship with God is over because we're like, oh, I did that again for the 14th billionth time. And so we think God must not love me anymore because it was so focused on being a good person and not doing bad things. So while Christ does give us victory over struggles and over sin, what he wants most is our heart. So be encouraged and I pray that your prayer, and I know that my prayer, like David, would be, Lord, I want to long for you. I want to seek you in a dry and weary land where there is no water.